Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Up and In It. I'm your host, Adrian Babishoff, and if you're new here, welcome. And if you're wondering what the show is about, it's a show 100% dedicated to improving your life through liberty and independence, of exploring alternatives to the daily grind, moving from surviving to thriving, and living life raw, as I always say. And today I just wanted to kind of go back on the first introduction of the show of what it is about. And I feel like there's so much more. There's so many things that are popping up. And I'm so excited to share the show with you guys and to help anybody who needs it and give you perspective that there's a whole nother life to live. And the things I see are so fucked up sometimes out there. And I have plenty, we all have fucked up shit in our lives. But by staying positive and sharing notes and living by example, I have grand faith that this show would possibly be something. And I just want to kind of go off the cuff today. I've got a couple notes I want to look at, but I basically wanted to go over the explanation, the details of what the show's about. And in my details is liberty and independence. And I ask myself, and I ask you to ask yourself, is what does that mean to you? And do we have liberty and independence in our life? And I want to state that in the show, I always want to focus on solutions, but I kind of want to point out sometimes because I think these things are overlooked. Starting with the first one of liberty. Are we really free? As some of the saying goes, it's fucked up. Yeah, you're free. You're free to pay check, cash, or credit card. As time keeps going on, places we go to, like to camp and to enjoy nature, they're fenced off and closed and regulated, and it's not as free as what it used to be. But we have to fight, I feel, constantly in our lives and for our future selves and our generations to keep things open and keep things clean and stay liberated mentally, physically, spiritually. And I hope that means something to each and one of you. I know that if you're watching the show and you've been watching for a while, that it's awakening those thoughts in you going, hey, I do want to live a life of liberation and independence. And I have to tell you guys, it's my life's work. It's my life's goal. And I'm experiencing more and more of it. And I've got to be doing something right. And my foundation is that I've been doing mini retirements for the past 6 years. And this year's been rough like every year. There's a lot going on. And I figured I would talk about that a little bit later. But I'm so thankful and grateful from my past self of working so fucking hard and doing so much while being mocked and laughed at and unbelieved in and misunderstood. And while those people are working 9 to 5 and getting up and having 2 weeks a year to go do whatever they want besides their weekends, to me, that's not really liberation. We're in an oubliette, as it's called, a prison with nothing but walls of air, from my opinion anyways. If you're unhappy, and you're wanting to change shit, this is the place to come to. I've been noticing that I'm able to connect more with my daughters and my dog and myself. My mind's becoming clearer, and every year I can't stress the significance more that we all deserve more than just 2 weeks. To me, it takes like at least a week just to decompress and forget that you have to go to work or you got all these obligations and things, that you start to just acclimate to actual true liberation. So I got to keep these podcasts short. I'm on a budget and it doesn't allow me to do very long ones. But independence, you guys, is the power of independence. From what I feel that's what I want to share and I want to convey to you guys, is to get off that wheel, to explore alternatives. And I want to let you guys know that there are things out there, there are ways, and I hope to be a prime example for you guys. That's the whole premise of this show. And it looks like we've got some other people commenting and stuff on it that are very knowledgeable and doing the same. And I think that you guys are going to get a lot. And I'm just really excited to see if I can make the show a go of it. The worst case scenario I'm thinking is that I can meet some best friends, some really cool people, because I don't think there's a lot of us out there that are questioning the systems that are in place. And it can be a very lonely place. But God, the liberty and the independence, the feeling of true freedom it's addicting, you guys. I ask of you to consider, especially if you don't like where you're at, consider subscribing to the show. And you guys are in for some roller coaster rides, man. And all of this that I speak, there's also moving from surviving to thriving. And I think that's what most of us are just doing. We're just surviving. And if you're happy with that, I don't I don't want to talk shit about it, but stay there. But I feel like I do, and I think that most of you do. You guys want to move from surviving and start thriving a little bit. And one of the favorite quotes for me was from the movie Wall-E. And it's a cartoon, a kid's cartoon. These kids' cartoons got some some crazy messages in them, man. Like Rango's another one, but I digress. In Wall-E, they're in this ship, and they're in outer space because they shit on the Earth so bad. They fucked up the Earth. It was inhabitable, so they lived on the Axiom. And Wall-E ends up on this ship from Earth. He was a little robot that's cleaning everything up, and he ends up coming back with this little plant, and nobody's ever seen a plant, a green living plant. So the captain of the ship says, I want to go back to Earth and I want to see things like this plant. And the robot that's running the ship, the computer system tells him, why would you want to do that? We have everything here for everything essential to your survival. And he says, I don't want to survive. I want to live. It's Wall-E is just, it's one of the baddest ass cartoons. And I know I'm probably fucking childish, but huge messages in it, man. And if you got kids, it's definitely worth a watch. And if you don't, it's still, man, give it a shot. For those of you who like to smoke weed, smoke your weed and it'll trip you out, man. It's fucking badass. Living life raw. My definition of that is living it the way you want, man. And I mean raw is uncooked. All the information and things that we fucking get, it's confusing out there, man. And I guess there's a lot of people lying and like trying to get followers and subscribers and all this happy horse shit. And I want you guys to know that this show is genuine. It comes from the heart. I'm speaking of true experiences. There's no false information. If there's anything that could be proven wrong, I ask, so please do so I can follow your way and not live a lie. I try to put my philosophies and things, I'm grabbing the best of everything that I research and incorporating them into my life and practicing, not just talking about them, but using them and finding out what works and what doesn't and getting rid of it. And I hope that in the comments and people who disagree, that it could be constructive criticism and we can all come to a conclusion. But yeah, living life raw means just that. Let's get it the raw form, man, before it's tainted and misrepresented. Figure out what works and what fucking doesn't. The whole point of this whole show, the whole point of my life, and I'm doing this with or without this show, and I just figured I'd take everybody along for the ride. It's to get to the bottom of things and figure stuff out. And how is that and what is that? It's going back to intuition, I think. It's very difficult on how to make money, how to live sustainable, permaculture. There's all kinds of stuff that goes out that makes so much sense. And then someone will prove that it's failing. And in some sense, some stuff looked good and sounded great, but it didn't actually work. And that's where I get my confidence for the show and why I'm so excited to share it is it's weird to realize that you're successful. Am I a millionaire? No. Am I a thousandaire? Sorta, yeah. I've got everything that I need. I have everything really that I want. Would I want $1 million? Fuck yeah. Then I would retire and I would take care of my special needs daughter for the rest of my life and be able to live in peace and know that I've got all bases covered. I would do, well, that's a whole podcast in itself, but I would green the whole fucking planet. I'd start planting trees. I'd be like Wall-E, man. Start cleaning up the fucking planet and doing some wonderful things. Donate to some of these bitchin' fucking guys like Willie Smits. But I digress again. Yeah, I think in the end, all we have is our intuition. And to get it firsthand, that's why I love the platform of YouTube and the podcast, is that it's not broadcast television and it's real people talking about real fucking shit. But you guys, through all my successes and everything I've done, my life is going to be changing, could change at any day now. And anybody who follows me kind of knows the situation that I have an 11-year-old special needs kid and I may have to quit my business, drop it all, and raise my kid full time. I can't put her in school. And let me just keep everything short. It may change drastically, but I want to prove to you guys the successes. So let me know if you guys doubt this. Let me know why you doubt this alternative lifestyle design. I'll show you how I grossed, not net, grossed just below $500,000 within 9 months with a crew of like 3 to 4 people working for me. Was it wonderful The money, yes, but what I had to go through fucking sucked. And that's why I choose this lifestyle where I'm staying just in the middle of the radar and living with a needs lifestyle instead of a wants lifestyle, and having the time to be with my children. And even that, I think I'm losing my oldest daughter. She wants to move in with her mother. I'm a single father, by the way. And I think the simple lifestyle is just not really working out for her. She's 13 years old, and she's like a moth to the lights. I guess everything's changing, guys. But the worst thing I can think of is that I would fail you. I can show pictures of my bank statement or my tax returns and things like that if you guys need it. I've seen that kind of stuff on YouTube. But either way, guys, I always make something fucking happen. And I don't know what's going to happen with this. I'm currently working on a home-based business. That's been my plan all along, to get out of roofing construction. I'm an entrepreneur. I partnership with a company, and I own my own company. Yeah, I'm trying to figure ways out, and I don't know what more to say on that. So yeah, I don't know, man. I might back off the podcast for a while, and the shows, the recordings, and figure out how I'm supposed to deal with this situation. But I think I might have to take some time off. But I usually just keep working anyways. But well, that's sort of the situation there. I don't know if it's wise to get too personal on it, but it definitely breaks my heart to go through these things. And I definitely have some figuring out. And I think that if shit hits the fan, I always make something happen. And you guys are definitely in for a ride no matter what. I may fail at all of this, but I haven't yet. So if you guys like this sort of thing, check me out on Facebook. There's a private group there. Ask to join and I'll let you in. There's the Up and In It Instagram, where I post almost every single day, sometimes a couple times a day. And it just sort of gives you guys an idea of what it looks like, proof of concept, and kind of gives you behind the scenes, I guess, of what my lifestyle looks like. And I try to get all the high points for you. There's also the podcast at Apple iTunes and Spotify, and of course YouTube. You guys, don't lose your muchness. Carry on the fire. Human up. Live it, love it, own it, and bone it.